Well, it's 2016, and whatever portent of horror that may induce in you, I'm back. And you know, this is my 100th consecutive weekly commentary. I'm not going to engage in any centennial celebration, but I do want to revert back to business as usual where I left off, which you may recall. You won't recall, but you may recall that it was on the eve of the Paris conference dealing with climate change. And I said at the time that it would be claimed to be a monumental victory and it would undoubtedly be a monumental failure. And you will forgive the prophetic insight, but that's exactly what happened. The conference had two absolutely fatal flaws, as we've learned in the aftermath. First, all of the initiatives of all of the countries put together will not keep the temperature down low enough to save the planet. And second, there's absolutely nothing mandatory or binding about any of the commitments we're made. Nothing. I mean, can you imagine if that egomaniacal, cretinous lunatic Donald Trump became president of the United States, what he would do to climate change? So you see what's happening in the aftermath is that we're using more oil, we're using more gas, we're using more coal, we're still discharging carbon, we're not moving to renewables, there are vast climatic turbulences around the planet. We even have biological and zoological contortions that are unnerving. We've got sea snakes emerging on the coast of California with venom that can induce heart attacks and death. We've got seals emerging off the coast of Kenya, 100 kilometers north of where they've ever been seen before. This planet is in terrible trouble. And the Secretary General of the United Nations, desperately searching for a legacy, says it's a monumental triumph at Paris. Nonsense. That's the way you elevate failure into some kind of fantastical victory. I know hyperbole of that kind. I've used it myself on occasion. There's one other thing I want to disgorge while I'm doing this commentary, and that's something about my own country which is bothering me deeply. Canada has concluded an arms sale to Saudi Arabia. $15 billion worth of armored vehicles with guns mounted on the back, which can be turned on Saudi citizens. We're supposed to do a human rights inventory before we sell that kind of armored material to a country, and we have done a human rights inventory and we won't release it. You get a new government, you think there'll be a change, there's no change, plus ça change. But the truth of the matter is that Saudi Arabia has just engaged in a mass beheading execution. It has constant discrimination and violence against women as a cultural phenomenon. It has created complete turmoil from Yemen to Syria, and now we're selling them weapons that can be turned on their citizens. The sonorous sophists call it realpolitik. It's a reality that is resulting in the death and uprooting of millions of people. That was last week. I'm Stephen Lewis.